All right, and away we go. Hey guys, this is John. This is Title Tuesday on chess.com. Let's play d4 in my very first game against CM Chesselory. All right, play c4. Greetings to everyone in the Twitch chat once again. Greetings to all you YouTube viewers watching in the future. Hope everyone's doing well. It's a tradition unlike any other. Title Tuesday. Let's take on d5. Play e3. We get a standard QGD position here. Bishop d3, castle. Just make some easy moves to get into the flow of things, right? We don't need no long thinks early on in the event.
Hey John, this is Guys.
Doc Holiday, 28, thanks for subbing. That's 23 months from Doc Holiday. Queen b6 is odd. I'm just going to play queen c2. Hello. Greetings to everyone. Usually I would read out your names, but I'm going to really make an effort to focus today and try to play fast. I know I have this tendency to over-explain my thoughts, and I think you guys would rather see me get a good score and play well than try to explain stuff too much. So, just trying to break myself of that habit. Bishop g3. Bishop g3 sets a nice little trap, strategic
Hey John,
trap, so I think I'm going to play this. If bishop d6, I have knight b5. Thanks, Otis86. Appreciate that. Says good luck, John. Always nice to have a student in the mix here. Thanks again, Otis. Let's play h3 now. So if knight h5, I can go here. Okay, b4. Generally a good idea if their queen's on b6, because bishop takes runs into
Hey
a3.
John, this is Guys.
Paralect, thank you for subbing with Twitch Prime. Cheers. Got my coffee today. Good to go. Okay, knight a4, knight c5. Strongly considering it. Also, just the direct b5 looks pretty good. b5, rook c8 take, though. Let's play knight a4. Queen d8 is forced. Okay, knight c5 or just b5 right away. Again, I'm at a point here where both moves look pretty good. Let's play knight c5. Queen c8, I think I'll play rook fc1. Takes. Okay. I'm happy to take with this pawn. I get the pressure down on the b pawn. Hello, Strut, in the chat, along with everyone else tuning in. Appreciate you guys. We already have 150 plus viewers. Awesome to see. Okay, bishop pair here. Black's just letting this pawn drop. And I think I will take that. I could also take twice on e4, but I run into discoveries, so we're not going to play that. How much is this dark square bishop worth to me? Nah, let's take it. If black plays bishop c8, I think I can go here, so that rook takes e3 runs into bishop h7. Seems like a good plan. Okay. Happy to pick up an exchange. Let's pre-move this. Whoa. Black didn't even take that. What? Knight takes h7. They didn't take. Okay, this can't be right. Knight e5. Knight e5 looks absolutely crushing. It did cross my mind for a second what happens if black doesn't play knight takes h7, but I thought, nah, like no way they don't take. Okay, now rook takes f7. Also, knight takes f7. Both moves look really good. Let's just take with the rook. King g8 probably coming. Nope. All right, knight takes g6. Don't think it matters at this point. Knight takes g6 or rook takes f8 and knight g6. Here, I don't think black can stop mate on any of these squares. Too many ideas involved here. Queen g7, queen h7 being the main ones. All right, so that was a surprisingly easy game. We'll chalk that up. Black seemed uncomfortable out of the opening. Kind of shocking how black played here, though. Bizarre that black didn't play knight takes h7, for one thing. All right, so who's in this title Tuesday? Let's see. Hikaru, Sib Elephant, Big Fish, Arjun, Leon Beast. That's MVL. Dulles, I think that's Daniil Dubov. Ali Reza is playing today. All right, he's been hit and miss in Title Tuesdays, but good to see him in the field.
This is guys.
Raunak Sadwani. Hello, Blunder29. Thank you for subbing. Cheers. Rasmus Svane, or Svein. Sergei Karyakin is playing. He's been playing quite a bit. All right, 643 players. Strong turnout. Oh, let me close this game. That's just a game I was following. If you've never seen this tournament before, this is 10 rounds of 3+1 Blitz action. 3+1. That one is important. I mentioned this before, but with only a 1 second increment, I think you basically have to treat it like a 3-minute game because you can lose on time at any moment. So if I forget, chat, please do remind me. Constantly remind me in between the games. John, speed up. Keep that pace up. Go 10 out of 10. I will try. Thank you, Ali Jamp. Let's take a look at a game if we can. Okay, Big Fish. In a time scramble here, you don't want to be in this situation, especially as one of the top seeds. Anything can happen. Matter of seconds left. I mean, White's visually, I think, doing well here. But you just never know. White's king is a little open. Knight g4 business. They do have this very strong b-pawn, though.
Hey, John, this is guys.
Jerry Emo, thank you for subbing. 3 months. Thank you, Noob at Chess. This is good luck, John. Do we have a sound for speed up? No. Well, there is that little rattlesnake sound that chess.com makes when you're getting low on time. I actually saw Lee Chess tweeted something this morning. Because Lee Chess also makes a noise, I think, when you're under a certain amount of time. I don't exactly know how much time. I want to say 20 seconds. And they found, in looking at 1.5 billion Lee Chess games, that the moment that that sound hits and registers and you hear it in a game, you're more prone to blunder. Like on average, of these 1.5 billion games they looked at, the blunder, there was a spike in the amount of blundering there. I actually usually play with sounds disabled because I don't like the sound coming in on the stream. It's just a more even experience. Yeah, that does sound about right. I agree. The sound is useful feedback, though, especially if you're playing Bullet. Any very fast time control. I mean, when I used to play Bullet on ICC, I would constantly use the sound because you might be hovering over a square, and as soon as you hear the move sound from your opponent, you can drop the piece. So I have mixed feelings on it. If I was playing purely on my own, I probably would use the sounds. Okay, what's going on here? Black has a nice pawn on b2, but white is eyeing up this promotion square. Feels like... I don't know. I mean, time-wise, black is not doing well. Yeah, black's got to be careful here. So does white, though. I don't know. Just a typical messy Title Tuesday game. White's going to the b1 square. Going to stick a knight there and just chill. Thank you, Kawashal. Says, hello, John. I've learned a lot from your videos on YouTube. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm glad to hear that. Best wishes for your improvement. Okay, black's definitely playing for a win now. The time situation aside. Julian Berman says, not sure if it means much scientifically if more blunders happen when the sound plays. Probably would need to consider how many of those games would have been flags if the sound wasn't there. Well, I'm sure they accounted for that. Here, let me see if I can pull up the tweet, actually. It's rather interesting. You can clearly see they showed a graph, a little plot of the games, and you can clearly see the bump in the blunders. I'll have to show it after this game. Okay. Sergey Shtaika. We're both on 1 out of 1. Black pieces here. Let's go. Let's go, guys. All right. Team Scandy. Let's do this. Come on, come on. Queen A5. I've been working on this a lot lately. Delving into the theory. Let's play Bishop F5. Bishop D3. Okay. I'll play C6 here, followed by E6. Generally, this approach is... It's not totally innocuous, but I always feel like fairly comfortable here as black if white goes for a quick trade of the light square bishops. Okay, I'm thinking about castling queenside. Bishop B4. Queen C7, of course. Let's castle queenside. We can control the knight jumps. No worries there. And I think now I'll play queen C7. So bring this back. If knight E5 I can take. There's a bit of an alignment issue here for white. This is reminiscent of a Caro-kann. Bring the bishop out. Yeah, I'm sure the contention is with that little factoid I was sharing that the sound startles people, causes them to blunder more often. All right, knight D5 maybe. Could also play for C5. I kind of like knight D5 in general. Let's do that. If C4, I'll play knight F4. Knight E5 makes sense. Knight E5 I might just trade and play something like B5. But let's see how white treats this. C4. All right, let's go here. We got the crab pincer structure, quite standard. Knight E5. The immediate knight E5. I think I'm just going to take. Not the most exciting position in the world, but we're playing it. We're doing all right on the clock. Takes with the queen. Okay. Let's take again. And now takes with the pawn. Interesting. Okay. So I can play king c7 or c5. I think both are pretty reasonable. Let's play king c7. I don't want to dwell on it too much. King c2. Let's go a5. Just gain some space. If a3, maybe a4. And if c5, I'm going to play rook d5, so white can't wedge their rook in on d6. It makes sense for both sides to like start expanding over here. f4, maybe h5. Okay. Let's do this. Now, if I bring the king up, white's going to play king c3 and then a gradual a3, I think. Okay, let's go here. Clarifying things a little bit. I'd love to pick up this e5 pawn in the endgame. That would be awesome. Okay, f4. Let's push this guy. Time. Always got to be aware. Okay, take. Now rook coming over. That's the plan. Check. Goes that way. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Now let's guard the 7th rank. Maybe g6, rook a7 at some point. That's what I'm thinking. Go here. Oh, I blundered. Ah, oof. Yeah, Blundertown, population Finns. Yeah, this is easily losing now. Yeah, resign. Should have repeated the position there. But, you know what I was trying to avoid? And thanks to the person who donated, by the way. That was Arthur with the 100 bits. Says hello. Thank you. Yeah, you know what I was trying to avoid? Was if I had repeated rook b8, I thought white would go rook c7. So that's why I played rook d8. Or, sorry, rook d7. I saw this line. Even this is of dubious value. Okay. Misplayed ending. I thought I was playing for a win here, and then of course I ended up losing immediately. Guess I should play king here. Might just be equal. Pushing the pawn to b4 is double edged because I'm gaining some space. I'm fixing this pawn on b3, as in it's standing as a potential weakness there, but my pawn is also a weakness. Take a peek at that one. Just curious about the eval. That opening was fine. Small edge for white. I don't want that. I want this. There we go. Yeah, this is a very Caro-kann-like position. The engines tend to prefer white here. They like the space advantage, but
Hey John, this is Guys.
didn't experience any issues. Bird up, thank you. 15 months. Yes, indeed. We'll try to get the next one. Okay. Again, just showing equality here. Maybe a small pull for white in some lines. But not a whole lot going on. Okay. Yeah, so this is the moment where I played b4. Engine likes rook takes d1 better. Rook takes d1 and then rook h6. Thought about activating the rook that way in some positions. Yeah, looks like this is level. Rook a7 here. Yeah, I could have played rook a7 directly, couldn't I? Might be kind of similar to the game, though. Rook c8. g6, I was trying to consolidate, but maybe I really don't need g6. Oof, yeah, and now king b5. Looking equal. King d5 allows rook c4, and then I'm struggling. I'm a little worse here. And always watch those transitions to king and pawn endings. All right. Live and learn. One more game left in the round. Whoa, draw by 50 move rule. We had queen versus rook, but white held on here. Wow. It's not an easy endgame. I know from experience. I had that against a grandmaster one time when I was like 16 years old, and I failed to win it with the queen. I was in time pressure, couldn't get the job done. Okay, playing Pavel Igorov. Let's play knight c3 here. Mix it up a little bit, huh? Let's go bishop f4. Queen d2. Introduce some bishop h6 action, shall we? Okay, very early c5 by my opponents. All right. Could take that. I'm just going to play e3, though. And now let's go bishop e2. Black seems intent on gambiting that pawn. If I take it, though, queen a5 will happen. Let's play h3. Yeah, a little Joe Bava London, huh? Okay, take. Take there. Am I losing a pawn here? ERW, thanks for the 100 bits. Cheers. Okay, maybe oh no, castles he takes on e5. Definitely can't do that. Seems I may have to take here, as much as I would like to avoid that. I gotta play down a pawn. Not an auspicious start to this game. But we still have a lot of chess left, right? Yeah, I didn't play the Tory. In hindsight, I wish I would have. But okay, no more driving in the rearview mirror in this game. All right, take. I think black plays bishop f5 here. They seem to be playing pretty active in this game. Because bishop f5, I don't think I can take e7 due to rook e8. No, plays that. All right. So now, let's go bishop h6. Create a couple problems here. Maybe bishop c4 next. If I can take aim against f7, I got some play. Okay. Yeah, let's go here. Now, do I gambit the c2 pawn? I may want to. Let's try it. Let's see if they go for this. I mean, it's probably sound to do so, but I figure I'm down one pawn. I need to make something happen, so I might as well try to create some issues. Like rook here and then g5, g4 rather. Yeah, let's do that. Bishop f5, g4. They can try bishop e6. Looks a little uncomfortable for black. Can double up, play g5. Hey, Axiom Fox. Thank you. Appreciate you tuning in today. Hope you're doing well. Always a pleasure to be with you guys. It's getting cold here. The winter months are ahead. Can I go here? Take. Okay, I see their point. There's also this. Bishop f7, nah. Let's go. Decisions. And also time. All right, I'm going to try this. I know I spent a lot of time there. Queen c5, I'm thinking g5. It's really not sound, though. Queen d4 instead. Okay. All right, well, in this case, let's get the pawn back, at least. Still g5 on deck in many positions. Kind of have to trade here, don't I? Okay, back rank issue for black. Let's take. Okay, I don't think this is worse for me any longer. I'm picking up the pawn. Ah, good move there. Check, maybe? Trying to keep some play. Keep a little bit of pressure. Okay, let's go here.
Hey, John, this is Guys.
Thanks to Nogaran. This is going to be tough to win. Let's try. May be foolish, but blunder mate? Nope. Yeah. This is just looking like a draw. All right. Yeah, I was not going to win that. I think black actually defended quite accurately when they played their bishop in. Unless I missed something around here. I want to keep the bishops on board in this position, but it's actually quite difficult to do so. Even here, bishop g5. Black played bishop f6, and I just didn't see a good way to justify keeping the bishops off the board. Rook b5, f5 was a good move at the end. Yeah, I really was pushing things by playing h4. You know, sometimes you can win by playing a7 in these rook endings, but problem is I have no way of getting my rook out from a8 if I do that. If you're unfamiliar with that. Again, let's take a quick peek. Did either of us miss anything at the end? I wouldn't completely doubt it. Yeah, I was trying to transfer my rook by baiting black with the f-pawn, but this is, I mean, with 3 versus 1 and black just having to keep an eye on the a-pawn, I'm the one who's risking losing here. Yeah, I was really hoping black blundered into king h4, rook h5 mate in various circumstances, but it didn't happen. Thanks again, Norgaran, for subbing. Like right here. King h4, rook h5 would be nice. Okay, Engine says I can play my king to the e-file. This time situation, I don't think it's going to change much. Okay, yeah, I was thinking black could maybe play king g5 here. That did briefly cross my mind. So I'm glad they didn't do that. All right, 1.5 out of 3. Poor opening on my part. c5. Yeah, I think taking the pawn. Let's take a look at the opening. Been a while since I played this line. Yeah, taking the pawn is the most popular. I played e3, also played in some games. But after knight e4 coming up, I have issues keeping the center together. I need some Jobava London experts to give me some feedback on that game. Where's Simon Williams when you need him? What if you march the king towards a8? Yeah, so I could do that. I could try that in that ending. But the thing is, if you play that way, you risk losing, or you risk a reversal in the position because, okay, like say, let's say I try to march my king over to a7 here, b7, a7. Because the pawn is 2 squares away from promotion instead of 1, black's rook has mobility, so black might be able to take 1 or even 2 pawns and then dart back to the a file. Same thing once I transfer my rook to the 6th rank. Could try to bring the king in this vicinity, but I'm really risking a lot with my kingside situation, and black has passed pawns of their own that they can create. I agree, Duffman. 11 rounds today? Not to my knowledge. Did it say that? Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. That's a Title Tuesday first. Guess we're sticking around for one extra round, guys. Susal del Silva. Playing another Queen A5. I'm trying to get a lot of practice in with this variation because I've been studying it recently. Okay, let's go Bishop F5 here. Bishop G4 also playable. Hey, Andy Barkers. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, 11 rounds. Take. Okay. So nice positioning here for black. A little more aggressive than maybe you're used to in some Scandinavians, but trying to put pressure on D4. Now, D5, I think this can be met by castles pretty favorably. This is a constant alignment issue that white suffers from in this line. Yeah, no C6. We're not putting the pawn there in this particular variation. We're putting the knight there. Okay, take.
Hey John, this is Guys.
Rookie Mistakes, thank you for subbing. 10 months. Cheers. Hi, John. How are you feeling for this title Tuesday? I'm feeling good. Yep. Knight e7, maybe? Could also take first. And then knight e7, although I wonder if c4 saves the day. Let's go knight e7 first. Trying to exploit this pin. Okay, now I could take with the pawn here. Could also take with the knight and then take with the pawn. Yeah, let's take with the knight. This is a defense. Up a pawn. We like it. c2 is also under attack. Maybe rook g8 to come. Phil B, I saw your question. I'm going to try to avoid answering questions during the game, especially improvement related stuff that takes a little while to answer. Just in the interest of playing good chess. I'm going to take this guy. I know some of you will say this is greedy, but I just can't help myself. Rook over, maybe bishop e4 now. Let's go here. Try to exploit the back rank. Now I expect some move like h3 by white. Knight b3. Well, I see the point. I can't take it. Let's go bishop c4. Don't want to draw, of course. Ugh, what to do here? Let's bring this back. Prepping rook e4. Now I can take. All right. Let's play f5. He knows that the flag is his only chance now. Understandable. Okay, just escaping to safety here. Hey, we castled kingside. Success. All right. Little nerve-wracking. Sorry to do that to you guys, but I'm glad I didn't answer that question during the game. I might have flagged if I had done that. It's just amazing the problems we create for ourselves in our head. Like, I spent time looking at the following line, which you guys will think is ridiculous. Okay, so when white played knight b3, where was it? Yeah, first of all here, if I take b2, white takes here, which defends the rook. I take back, they take with the queen, and yeah, I'm up a couple pawns. But I'm facing a mate threat here. My king is a little unsafe. So I wasted some time looking at that. Now, what else did I waste time on? There was something in this position. Some queen trade possibility. Can't remember. The fact that I can't remember it just means I should have moved faster. What was it? I really don't recall. Was it here? Yeah, I don't remember. But suffice it to say, time was wasted. But you only know it's wasted afterwards. You definitely feel it in the moment. But I'm actually pretty happy about how I played that. Opening was definitely a success. Again, this is the direction I'm looking at for my lifetime Scandi course. This is how black is getting the best results in the Queen A5 Scandi these days. Playing e6, leaving the pawn on c7, often using the c6 square for the knight specifically. So this is all theory in this line. And yeah, d5, while seemingly attractive, white is castled, black is not. That allows this castle queenside move, and you can see the eval jump here in black's favor. Omar Chess, hey, thanks for the 435 bits. 1 bit per each day I've been watching your videos. Oh man, symbolic. Greetings from Mexico. Your content is awesome. Dude, hey, thanks a lot, Omar Chess. I love the message behind that. 435 days. I'm impressed that you even remember the day that you started watching my content. So, hey, thank you very much. Yeah, so castle queenside here, and white's all pinned up. Just take a brief look at how I played this. Bishop e4. Yeah, that does look good. Bishop e4 or bishop g4. I especially like bishop e4, though. Just the visual of this move. Attacking the pawn, also hitting the knight. Eyeing up g2 someday. That would have been nice. This is also good for black. Yeah. Looking at a significant advantage here. Just a little tricky to convert. Got to be careful about my king and the structure and undefended piece here, the bishop. Seems like I played some good moves, though. Repeated once. Bishop came back. Yeah, and blunder. Back rank. Rook takes c5, allows rook e1. All right. Take a look at a game here. Does anyone know why they added a round to the Title Tuesday today? What do you mean waste time? Don't you have to consider these things? Sure, but remember, this is only a 3+1 game. 3 minutes with a 1 second increment. So you got to keep the moves going pretty quickly. I mean, if you're under 30 seconds in a middle game, that's usually not a good thing at this time control. It's winner take all, no playoffs. Ah, interesting. Okay, so they added a round, I guess, to get a little separation in the standings, perhaps. Because with 10 rounds, there are a lot of ties. A lot of players who make, like, 9 out of 10, for instance. Have I ever played Hikaru? Yep, I played him a couple times. It's been a while, actually. They added a round because they love watching you, John. Oh, thank you. Phil B, I forgot what your question was. You were asking about the London and the Scandi? Maybe you can repeat your question now that we're on a bit of a break here. Thanks to chess.com, by the way. They shouted me out in their chat that I'm streaming. Oh, looks like MVL is also streaming. Along with Hikaru and I'm sure other people. Gotham Chess is playing Title Tuesday. Astana is playing Title Tuesday. Good stuff. Are we on break right now? We might be. If so, I'm going to run to the bathroom. Ah, yeah. 6-minute break after round 4. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Oh boy. Did I misjudge that break? All right. Well, at least we're playing a familiar opening. Now I'm really going to have to play with a sense of urgency, huh? That rarely happens to me. I don't think this has happened more than, like, perhaps once or twice previously. But it's a risk. Okay, let's go knight bd7. Just got to make natural moves, you know. Okay. Knight d5, pressure. Bathroom Gambit, yes indeed. Thanks for the 100 bits, Arthur. Evidently thought it was a longer break than it was. Happens. Okay. Take. I do like my position, I gotta say. Take this. See if he gambles with d5. Let's go here. Oh, hello. Say hello to my little friend. The bishop on g6. Rook here, I have check as well.
Really? Hey John, this is Guys.
Take. We got this covered. Thanks, J-Dog, for the sub. Oh. Got my wires crossed there a little bit, but okay.
Hey John, this is Guys.
We're pushing.
Hey John, this is Guys. Hey John, this is Guys.
That is a trapped queen almost. Yeah, White's trying all manner of tricks here, but let's just keep this very simple. All right. Appreciate that. Thanks for all the subs, guys. Let's chalk that up.
John, this is Guys.
I just heard, hey, John, this is Guys, over and over again. So thank you to Keith. Cheers. 7 months. Paul R. Hansen for the 6 months. I am Mark for the 3 months. This is looking forward to the new Chessable course. Hashtag Team Scandy. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Hope I didn't miss anyone there. No G, thanks for the 123 bits. Oneric Field with the $3 says the next coffee, it's on me. Hey, cheers. Venti Blonde Roast. You know the price point on these. That's perfect. Mr. Willie Hammer just subbed Twitch Prime. And Screw Twitch 34 just gifted a sub to Eddie Barber. Or Barber Eddie. Thank you very much.
Hey, John, this is Guys.
J-Dog, I don't know if I said your name. Thank you for subbing. Haginator. Looks like my alerts are a little bit slow. I'm sorry, guys. All right. Yeah, so another success for the Queen A5 Scandy. This is another topical line, Bishop C4. Generally good to meet this with Bishop G4, and in my course, very likely I'm going to be recommending the approach that if white delays the development of the kingside knight, black should play Bishop G4. Trying to induce this weakening F3. White played knight E2 this time, though, and I think the critical move for white would have been H4. So had white played H4 and tried to cramp my bishop, then I might have experienced some issues dealing with that. So I will take a look at the move order here. And knight E2. This shouldn't be that challenging for black, but I'll take a look at it again. By the time I settled in with like this sort of setup, I'm feeling very comfortable. H5, the bishop's totally safe. And yeah, white neglected the pin here that I eventually got him in. Queen takes G5. White has some compensation here. I got to watch those dark squares. Yes, this should just be dead winning. I'm sure I made this tougher than I had to. In hindsight, Queen F4 check looks very clean here. Yes, so white could have played Queen B8. They can, but the thing is, I got the C7 square covered. So after king here, B7, also covered by the queen. They could go Queen D6, but I just tucked my king away right on E8. Totally good. Oh, did I have knight C3 check here? Oh yeah, that was mate in 2, wasn't it? Good call. Good call, K-Bucky. I even mentioned knight C3 as well against rook D2. I was planning something like that, but yeah, that would have saved any further stress. King here, check. It's so funny, though, when you have certain things in your head, especially in a fast game, like, I need my knight on D5 to control C7. I wasn't even looking at the knight coming to C3. But I'm sure people in the YouTube comments have already wrote knight C3 on move 2. Trust me, if you are a YouTuber for chess and you make like an obvious or even semi-obvious mistake, people will let you know in the comments. They keep you honest. All right, so Hikaru is playing Z-Kid. Ooh, crushed Z-Kid, which is Grandmaster's Steven Zirk. Nice guy from California. Oh, I'm playing Igor Kovalenko. All right. Tough opponent here. Let's go. Well, thank you, stream. Says you have a really upbeat / positive voice. Just wondering if that's something you developed over time with streaming, or if you spoke like this before streaming. I think it's probably a mix of both. But I do think I've developed like something of a streamer voice. Especially from like an instructional standpoint, if that makes sense. Oh, this guy's doing the bathroom gambit on me, perhaps. Perchik, thanks for the 300 bits. Yeah, those of you who are teachers will know what I mean by the teacher voice. But I do speak more casually in person. But Probably the same like tone largely. I mean, it's hard to change your voice. All right. What did I start that last game with? Maybe like 137, something like that? All right. So he's spotting me a minute, basically. Let's play a Tory. Let's go for it. The good old Tory attack. Maybe check. Haven't seen this approach before with the early b6. Intriguing. Let's go h3. Now, which way to castle? I'm going to go this direction. Not normally the decision here. But, I don't know, seems interesting. It's probably going to crawl forward on the queen side. Let's go here. e4 runs into knight f4, so we don't want to play that. I think I'm just going to go here. Trying to prep e4. Yeah, let's go for it. See what happens. e5 now. Breaking through in the middle. He's going to play e6, I'm pretty sure, regardless of which way I end up capturing. Well, he'll trade first, but what to do? Let's do this one. Knight e4 suggests itself, but he can take e5. No, he can't really take e5. Okay, let's play it then. I thought for a moment he could, but take, bishop takes, I have knight f6 check. Very important. Okay, I think this should be decent for me. Castle's kingside is definitely critical, whereupon I was thinking knight f6. Or knight d6. Not 100% sure. h4 even? Let's try to attack h4. If I can get the g5 square, that might be helpful. Dare him to take this pawn, which he does, just as I say that. All right, here. Let's do it. Wow, f5. Aggro Kovalenko. Just go back. Pin. I have rook e1 coming, maybe. Oh, f4. That's what he's up to. Didn't even see that. Don't know why I didn't see that, but I didn't. Let's roll the dice. I'll try to sack on g5. See what happens. If he plays this, that is. Not sure if taking with the bishop or the knight is best, but had to choose one. I'm on this guy. Trying to keep pressure on this guy. He's negotiating it very well. Yikes. Help. That knight is coming into c3. I don't know. Yeah, this is busted. Queen c1. Not much I could do about that at the end. Ah, brutal. Well, credit to him. He defended pretty well there from what I could tell. 'Cause I had some pressure, that's for sure. I never pushed the pawn to h6 because in a way I felt like that would help black because h6 and then he hides his king on h8. Yeah, queen h7. I was kind of running out of gas around here. And then he started pushing on the queen side. He's like all coordinated. Off the top of my head, I think bishop e4 was not a good decision. Bathroom gambit, yeah. Maybe I just got to leave for a minute and a half for the next game. Guaranteed win. Bishop h7 check looked really good. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I felt like this position was promising right around the time black castled. I could play knight f6, but knight f6, bishop takes, and then queen d8. Actually, bishop here might be decent at this point. Trying to come to e7. I didn't see this idea. Yeah, in fact, knight f6 looks pretty principled. Maybe black could ignore it, king here, but... yeah, I missed some chances in the early middle game after he castled. Let me check. Okay, e5. On site, this looked great for me. Yeah, castle, knight f6, okay. Top move. I played h4, also not bad. And then takes. Oh no! You see how that spiked up to 5? Plus 5.5. What did I miss? Oh, I had the same tactic that I mentioned. Wow. How did I not realize this? I simply had takes, check. Crushing. So weird. I even said that in the game if he takes here that I have this. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre that I missed that. The castling didn't change anything. And that works due to the pin, guys, if you were wondering. So this is the position. Yeah, because I played h4, he took. It's, again, weird. I thought, oh, well, I'm committed to playing h5 now. That was weird. Chess is a weird game. Yeah. Still apparently good here for white, but after f4, I felt like the game was getting away from me. Now black is better. Yeah, and I was trying to flag him, but that didn't work. Really didn't come up with anything good there. Ooh, that's a rough one, guys. Scara B. Let's try to rally here. I gotta close some of these tabs. Got too many boards open. Scara B 43. Let's play h6 just so I can keep the light square bishop. My tactical antenna was not firing properly there, apparently. Let's go bishop e7. Normally I'd put the bishop on d6, but with e4 as a possibility for white, it's sometimes good to stay out of range. I always look at tactical tricks when they play this, but don't think they're going to work. Yeah, let's just take. Is this a reverse London? Kinda looks like that, doesn't it? Let's play a5. Thanks again, guys, for the support today. Still got a lot of games left. Once again, this is 11 rounds instead of the customary 10. Okay, could take and play queen b6 or queen b6 directly, but queen b6, there is potentially d5. So I'm going to play rook e8 first, just to overprotect this bishop. Some extreme overprotection going on here, but I think it's worth it. Let's go knight d7. It's a pretty well-placed knight for white, so I think it's worth trading. Okay, knight back to d3. I think queen b6, b4 will be the answer, so maybe b5. Let's do that. Why is it 11 rounds, asked Perchik. People in the chat were saying it's because there's no playoff today, so I guess they're trying to add one more round to get a decisive result, a clear winner. b5 is quite ambitious. Yeah, it kind of looks that way, doesn't it? Feels correct, though. Let's go here. Now knight c5. Okay. If bishop takes, I can take a1 perhaps. Bishop takes d4 does run into rook d1 at the end. I have e5, I guess, though. e5 might be important. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Just calculating that at the moment. I think because b5's hanging, it probably doesn't amount to much. Thanks, Buffalo Johnny. Let's go here. Whose bishop is better? I kind of like mine because of the pressure on d4. It seems like this bishop is simply defending. Looks about level. I think any result is possible here. Just going to give me the file. Fair enough. Let's take. Invade. Let's go here. Takes, interesting. And now d5. That seems kind of loose on white's part, but maybe. Let's go here. Go back. Just got to take something. Ooh, I blundered a pawn there. They didn't notice. Mating net? Mating net, I think. Nope. Never mind. Never mind. Ugh, I lost. Ugh, I might have been losing at the end though. Time again.
Hey, John, this is
I thought I was winning there. King D1. I don't know how I didn't see King D1. Thank you, Ludmila, for the Twitch Prime. Oh, I really thought that was a mating net. Now white slips out. And there's no discovery. It's super annoying. Still, I shouldn't lose this, I feel, but time pressure. Yeah, there's no way to win material here. Because I can't get at the rook on b5. That's the problem. Yeah. Should have played bishop f6 in this position. Then I think anything's possible. It's almost certainly a draw. White actually played that quite well at the end. I was trying to set up various tricks, but constantly White was avoiding them. Be nice to play bishop c3, but I'm pinned. Yeah, check forces me away, not falling for any tricks. Again, it feels like this is a draw, but the time is the bigger factor. Am I busted at the end here? Rook d5, b7 is coming, and I can't trade down. Yeah, I also can't simplify either. This is winning for White. Let's see. Curious about the end of that. Okay, let me close some tabs. My engine doesn't want to go. Maybe we broke the fan, guys. That might be the merciful thing to do at this point. You guys hear it going burr all the time. It's broke. The lines are not showing. Yeah, it looks rough at the end. I guess I could always pivot back here and guard that square, but time pressure not looking too hot. Are we on break? I think there's one game left. There is a break after round 8, I believe. Or maybe... I thought it was after the next round, but maybe we're on break. Sometimes hard to tell. Everything is breaking. I guess we are on break. Speaking of breaks. There is a 6-minute break now? Okay. Yeah, I really wanted to check that game, but the analysis is just not registering. What about evaluation? Not working either. Engines broke for everyone, someone else said. Okay. Come back in 7 minutes? Right. Might get better results that way. Okay, I will take a little break, get a little more water. See you guys in a couple minutes. Let's play d4 again. I've been sticking to d4 today. All right, let's play c4. Hello, RPG, by the way. Okay, back this off. So 3.5 out of 7. Not great, but also not a disaster. Left some chances on the table, though. Time management continues to be a thing. An important thing. Let's go check. Let's see if I can get black to play c6. Sometimes a helpful move to induce. Just blocks the scope of their bishop.
Hey, John, this is Guys.
Red corner, thank you for subbing. Thank you very much. All right. Bishop g3 might preempt a knight e4 type move, but it allows knight h5 is the downside. So let's just castle. Here comes knight e4. Okay. Take. F5. All right. Aggressive by black. I can respect that. I'm thinking about playing on the queen side, trying to get b4 going again. Let's play rook b1. Yeah, do this. Just a useful move. Gain a little bit of space. Black may try to attack me. Looks like that's the plan. Now, g3 is a little weakening. Could play knight e2. Let's go knight e2. Let's see if black wants to go all in with g5. Expose their king, but hope for an f4 break at some point. Okay. Black defers that decision. Let's gain a little more space. Black played this very spicy. This is fun how this is shaping up. G5. Let's keep pushing. G4, I'll go here. Okay. I'm going to take, I think. Try to invade down this file. A6 was tempting too, but I didn't see a way in if I played that. This B5 will always be met by C5 is the thing. I am going to play B5. And now take, maybe? Take and take here. I think I can do this. Feels like they missed this. This is covered. I think they kind of have to capture. Capture in probably knight e6. Offer a queen trade. Centralize. Threaten this. Nice. Now we're looking good. I have check. And then take. Knight f3. I think I can just take here, as we're taking with check. And then protect the king. All right. Okay. I'm happy with how I played that one. That was a good game. Black got a little overambitious on the king side, I think, but I defended quite well. And I think I found the way to exploit this. This moment was key. B5, C5, bishop takes E4. I think queen E5 was a nice move too. Give myself credit for that one. It just takes a lot of the sting out of Black's remaining play here. I mean, I think White's a lot better at this point anyways, but Black wants to go rook f8 and attack, hit f2 3 times, so queen e5 ensures that if rook f8 is played, I can take this knight. And even though it looks like I'm lining up with the rook, which I am, the fact that the rook is undefended hurts Black because they can't jump forward with the knight. I would just take that with check. Anything wrong with queen d6 instead of queen c3? Queen d6. That looks interesting. I was a little bit concerned about queen b2 ideas. So I was trying to control black infiltrating maybe on this side of the board. That also hits the b5 pawn. Yeah, thanks, guys. Let's see if we can watch one of the top games. MVL and Hikaru were playing, but I think it's over. Hikaru... unclear how they did. The standings are not updated. Let's watch Krikor. Can he win this? Tricky. He's got the queen against the rook. But black has 2 connected pawns. And white has the a pawn, but the b5 pawn is held. Hello, Norchess.
This is guys.
Thank you for tuning in. This is first time watching live. Love your videos. Cheers. Thank you. Darth Reckoner, thank you for subbing Twitch Prime. This is Hey John, it's me, guys. Yeah, greetings, Darth Reckoner. Carnicero says hello, John, and future me on YouTube. Yeah, this will be posted on YouTube as always. I might try to edit out some of the blank spots in the tape. Taking breaks and whatnot. Although I got to keep in the moment that my clock was running and I was behind a minute and a half. I would bet this is winning for white. It's very tricky, though. Black might end up in Zugzwang, though. That's the thing. Kind of feels like with correct play, black should lose this. But black has a fortress here. Move the rook back and forth. Thing is, without the pair of pawns over here, this would be a draw. Black has a nice fortress with the rook moving back and forth on those squares. But I kind of feel like the presence of these pawns should change things, but maybe not. Maybe it is just a draw. Because the rook is perfectly holding the b pawn at all times. Interesting. That's one to study for sure. Yeah, very interesting. Wait, is that a draw? No, I'll have to look at that later. I'm going to check that out. Okay, Oglob is next. Because actually white has a rank behind with their queen. All right, can't think about it. Just play. I'm getting this a lot today. Knight f6 followed by e6. Very popular. Does he play the Grob? I don't know. Good question. Let's try to keep the dark square bishops on board. Okay, another ambitious opponent. All right, let's play c4. I personally kind of like it when they play f5 systems. I like the potential weaknesses in black's position.
Hey John, this is guys.
Ryan, thank you for subbing, tier 1. Okay. How to reorganize. Let's start with queen c2. Unclear if the queen belongs over here, but we'll find out. Maybe knight e5 now? Knight e5 take with the pawn? I'm going to try it. Take with the bishop and then f3. Possible propping up of the bishop later with f4. But playing f3 first. Can I do this? And then take f5, maybe? Take f5, he takes e5. Let's just recapture. e4. Let's go. Black playing very quickly. Take, rook here. Black can't take back. Let's go here. Take. Go here. Queen back. Oh, I have a sick idea. I hope this works. Wow. Look at that. That is a gorgeous... Oh, no! Oh, man. All right, focus, John. You're still in this. How? How does this always happen to me? This is too funny, guys. Hopefully I can still win this. Focus, John. Still got plenty of chances here. Nah, this is probably a draw now, isn't it? Yeah, draw. Oh, bishop g8. This is just how it's going today, guys. Be honest, how many of you guys miss bishop g8? You were ready to shower the board with bits, I know it. Like the modern day equivalent of that Frank Marshall game, where they allegedly put threw the gold coins on the board after he played Queen G3. It was like Levitsky versus Marshall. You guys were ready to shower the board with bits. Bishop G8 is devastating. Actually, for a moment, I was not sure if my move was just taking a moment to register, or if black had a defense. There was a moment of sheer terror where I was not sure what was going on, but then I saw black's clock tick and I was like, wait, what? And then Bishop G8, like a thunderclap. Yeah, and funny thing is I might still be winning here. Actually, should black go here? I couldn't recover from my shock. No, I don't know. I mean, it looks like at best I get this ending up a pawn, which is also maybe winning, but quite tricky. I have a feeling this might inform the YouTube title. You might be right. Here, let me check that out. Bishop G8. That's going to become a meme on this channel. I know it. Went to go check the engine. It's not working still. Maybe someone can inform me, but I would be curious if I had anything here. Oh, it looks like such a crushing position. Maybe I just need to play some slow move in this position. Bishop G8, there is no mate. I love that knight moves. I love that. Our modern streaming take on knight f8, there is no mate. Nice one. I'm going to watch the chat afterwards. It's going to be so funny to see what you guys have to say about that. I'm glad many of you, so those of you watching on YouTube in the future, the chat, many of them admitted that they missed Bishop G8 as well. I'm sure I turned quite red when that happened. The only silver lining is at least this didn't happen in an over-the-board game. That's the only thing I can say. We've had some good clippable moments lately. I mean, even from this tournament already. The bathroom gambit, this. Missing knight f6 against Kovalenko. Maybe less of a clippable moment, but... Oh, I so badly want to check this. I think someone's mentioning 29 queen f3 is +3. What is move 29? Oh, so that's when I played rook f8. Okay, yeah. All right, got 5 out of 9 though. It's still on a positive score. WFM Katarina Miroshnik is next. Let's go. Another Scandy, perhaps? E4? No, D3. Maybe after E5, she wants to play the Scandy. Let's give her an opportunity to do so. She declines. All right. I tried, Katarina. I'm always accommodating for potential Scandy players. Let's go knight e7. Maybe I'll keep open the option of f5. Seems like an interesting way of developing. Let's try it. Scan decline opening? Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to swing this knight over to f6 to apply pressure to the center. Eventually, I may want a pawn storm over there. Something like take, take, and f4, but we'll keep it flexible for the time being. Oh, I know you love this terminal. Yeah, you love the Philidor structures, don't you? Okay. Let's go knight g6. Probe a little bit. Okay, play the queen out. Just maintain the center. I expect she'll play bishop b2, get a rook to the center. Okay, maybe bishop a3. Okay, let's take once, and then I think I'm going to play bishop g4. Maybe induce h3 and then come back here. Oh, someone has a bishop f1 emote. Whose channel is that from? Ben Feingold's. Oh, always play bishop f1. Ah, is that one of his sayings? Okay. Take. Okay. So nice center now to work with. Don't really want to trade because white's got these superfluous knights going on. So let's back this up. These knights are stepping on each other a bit. Now f2 feels like it could be a weakness in the future, but a bit of a ways from being able to attack it. Maybe e4 and bishop h2? c4. All right, so this is getting kind of weird structure-wise. Yeah, dynamic structure for sure. This bishop h2 idea is pretty interesting. I might want to go for that, like bishop h2, and then bishop e5, as I said, check. Could also go knight h5 directly and trying to go after f2, which is kind of slick. But if I play knight h5, maybe just take here is the thing. So I feel like I should play this move first. Bishop b2, and then go here. Because now if take, I can trade and go after the bishop. Maybe queen d1? I don't know. Very complicated position still. Rook f2 is even tempting. Let's just send this in. Got to play a little faster. All right. We're going for the kill. Gonna try this. Whoa. Knight takes e4. Okay. Bring this over. Let's go here. Wait. Ugh, nerve-wracking, guys. Always. Wouldn't be Title Tuesday if it wasn't. I don't know what that move was. Oh, Rook A1 is good there. Okay, fair. That was tense. I thought I was getting somewhere with knight takes h3, but knight takes e4. I mean, position's just very messy. I'm sure the engine will reveal plenty of improvements for both sides. I kept looking at stuff involving this and then a knight coming into g3, but I just couldn't make it work. Yeah, I played that pretty poorly too when I had the knight. I liked playing with a knight versus a bishop in time scramble situations. So I didn't mind this, despite being down a pawn, because white's king is kind of weak. Her bishop isn't really participating on the king side, at least. I mean, bishop takes e4 felt very risky. I would not be surprised if I had something here, but I couldn't find it. Like a knight takes e4 or... Yeah, because I got to watch bishop h7 in many instances. How do I not panic? Yeah, that was far closer than I would have liked. I was so hoping... Where was it? That she would play rook takes f5 here, because... If you were paying attention, I had queen takes f5 pre-moved, but actually I noticed that queen takes h3 would just be mate, so I canceled my pre-move, and I was hoping white would do that, but no, she didn't. She didn't play that way. Again, I really want to check the engine, but I think it's not working. Let's try one more time. Yep, still broke. All right. Well, I'm on 5.5 out of 10. This is the last game. Playing a GM, actually. Chess Trainer, 2042. Let's see what happens here. Queen c2? Why not? Yeah, one extra round. Here are the standings in the tournament. If you're curious, Sib Elephant is leading with 9 out of 10. Followed by a pack of players on 8.5. All right. Let's go knight bd2. Some very direct play by black. Quick e5. Hey, Ricardo, thank you. Let's jump. Black jumping as well. Have a bit of a development lead here. Not sure it's worth anything, but this has been a fun one. I haven't played particularly well at all, but this has been a fun tournament. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. Knight f5, maybe? Let's go for it. If this, we have rook e1. I don't think black can really justify that, so might as well attempt. All right, let's take. So I got the pair of bishops, the killer bees, maybe bishop e3 coming. It's been amusing for sure, says Duffman. Good. Well, it's the most important thing, that everyone had fun. You can laugh at me missing bishop g8. Thanks to the nearly 500 viewers, by the way. Okay. Let's go here. Attack that queen.
Hey, John, this is Guys.
My knight position looks a little sketchy on b3. Could be better. Sturdy Boots, thanks to the 100 bits. Or 200 bits, rather. I expect you to deliver mate with bishop g8 now. That would be difficult. Getting a mate with bishop g8. Because as we've already established, bishop on g8, there is no mate. But you never know. I can give it a shot. Bishop h3 could be coming. I'm going to go here. I do wonder about knight f3 in this position, strangely. I don't think it works for black, but it's pretty interesting. Yeah, black's not going to chance it.
Hey, John, this is Guys.
Okay, knight d4 maybe. How do I push black back here? f4 perhaps? f4 might be the move. f4 followed by e4. How about that? Let's do that. Interstellar Sailboat. Love that username. Thank you. Also Davcom. Appreciate it. Here now? Let's go. Expansion. Some bishop trap ideas lurking in the position. If take, I take with the knight. I don't think I'm quite ready to... Whoa. Okay. Is he going to go knight b4? Maybe. Probably is. Yeah, knight b4. Knight b4 I take c2, take d8. Guess it's just mass trades. Could take b7 at the end, takes g2, and then e4's hanging. All right. But knight b4, queen here is probably what black's calculating. Wow. Okay. So if I take on d5, and we get a swap, well, I think I have to play this way. King f2. Bishop f1, I wasn't sure about bishop h3. Okay, take. Now, key moment here. I feel like taking c6 may be justified. Let's try it. Versus trying to grind with two minors against a rook and a pawn. This is the last round. Let's go for it. But yeah, I want to win this pawn. Take now. Or actually, can I just push c7? No, c7 is definitely not going to work. Take. I was thinking c7, bishop h3, but that's clearly not going to work. Okay, now a4. I think black's running out of squares with that bishop. b3. Just send the knight into a6 and promote. There we go. Pawns on the 7th rank are useful. All right. So I wrap this baby up with 6.5 out of 11. All right. Well, 6.5 is usually the score I like to get in a 10-round tournament. 11, given the way this tournament went, sounds about right. Let's see if we can catch the final game. Hikaru versus Sib Elephant. What's going on here? Sib is down a pawn, trying desperately to hold. They're also way down on the clock. Oh, this is... if there's any person in the world you don't want to be in this situation against, it's Hikaru. Check. It's not mate. How does white stop that pawn? They got to bring their knight back. I think Hikaru's winning now. He can go bishop c1. Yeah, this ought to be winning. Astro, thanks for the 200 bits. Cheers. Thank you very much. So, ooh, b2? Well, I don't know about that move. Maybe he's still winning, but no, okay. I think Hikaru clearly didn't want this to happen. So now he's down to 1 pawn left. Oh, we might see a king, bishop, and knight versus king. Checkmate, guys. Oh, white is so close to flagging here. Check. Yeah, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. Knight takes e4, king takes e2. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. No, Hikaru played even better. That's why he's basically the best blitz player out there. Aside from Magnus. Because I would have 100% played knight takes e4 in a time pressure situation. Maybe if I had this amount of time, I would have found something precise like this. But he's like, king and bishop versus king. We're not even going to bother with that. So I guess a couple other people could join Hikaru on 9.5. Let's see if we can catch any of these guys. Is MVL in the mix? No. Caro-kann. That actually might be it as far as the people who could catch him. Okay. Here we have a win for white. Lucena-style position. If rook check, white's going to go there. And now white's going to build a bridge. Send the rook over to b5 to block. This guy's a good player, by the way. Used to play him in the arenas on chess.com all the time. Yeah, thank you, Ricardo. Thanks for tuning in. All right. 3 games left. Rook and bishop versus rook. A classic. Ooh, this should be winning. Yeah, this is mating now. Black had to play rook d2 in this position. But this is one of the positions that is winning for white. King, rook, and bishop against king and rook. And if you'd like to know how, I highly recommend 100 Endgames You Must Know. We have it on Chessable. I did the videos for this. So, yeah, very good to know. Black just got mated, though. Oops. Real Madrid TV. Okay. Interesting little situation here with white having the connected pawns. The king helping defend. Feels like it should win for black, but look at that time. This is another one of these positions where I wouldn't be surprised by any result here. Hi, Bumpy. Hello, Shernick. King g5, you're going to try, 0.3. Plays king g5 with 0.3. 96, the confusion move. And black flags. Like I said, any result is possible. Oh, that was the magnet. Shout out to the magnet, by the way. It's FIDE Master Lafang Hua. And there we have it. Tournament over. Congratulations to Hikaru. He wins with a powerful 9.5 out of 11. Followed by Daniil Dubov with 9 out of 11. And Pavel Elyanov also with 9 out of 11. So Hikaru scoops. He's been doing well in Titled Tuesdays lately. Okay. All right, fun stuff, guys. Yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Let's try one last time to see with the engine. I will let the YouTube people go, though, at this point. Maybe I'll stay here for another 10-15 minutes streaming. So just hang out, decompress. I will have to run pretty soon, but let's take a look at this last game. So once again, guys, thanks for watching. This was Title Tuesday on chess.com, the 11-round version. So appreciate you following my result. Watch out for Bishop G8.